It is the time of the color of joy and celebration, the season of Easter. Jesus arose and everything is changed. The darkness of the tomb turned into the light of the resurrection. And we who believe in the one who is Easter are forever changed. Who Jesus is and what he did changes how we live. We are Easter people. It was the first day of knowing Jesus in a new way. It was Mary Magdalene and a few other women who had the courage to go to the cave where Jesus' body had been laid. They wanted to be close to Jesus. They carried spices with them to place around his body to complete the burial. And as they walked, they wondered how they would get inside the cave because of the great stone that blocked the entrance. But when they got there, they found that the stone had already been rolled away. And inside the cave was nothing. Nothing but the white linen cloth that had covered his body. They rushed back to tell the others, but most did not believe them. Peter and John ran off to the garden to check it out for themselves. When they got there, they could feel Jesus' presence in the absence. But Jesus was gone. Gone. Truly gone. They raced back to tell the others. But Mary stayed behind, weeping. "Woman, why are you weeping?" Mary turned and saw someone standing there who she thought must be the gardener. "They have taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him." "Mary." This time he said her name, and she knew it was he. Mary must have stepped forward to touch Jesus, because Jesus said, "No, you cannot hold me. I have risen, but not yet ascended. But go and tell the others that I am going to the one who is my Father and my God, and who is your Father and your God." And then he was gone. Mary rushed back to the disciples, shouting, "I have seen the Lord!" On that day, Mary discovered she couldn't touch Jesus like she could before. She now knew Jesus in a new way. She knew him in his absence. On the second Sunday in the season of Easter, we remember how in the afternoon of the first Easter, two of Jesus' followers made their way slowly on the road from Jerusalem to Emmaus. And as they walked, they talked of all that had happened in the last few days. The cross, the darkness in the middle of the day, the curtain in the temple being torn from top to bottom, the empty tomb. What did it mean? As they talked, a stranger came close and asked, "What are you talking about?" "Are you the only one in Jerusalem who has not heard what has taken place these last 3 days? There has been so much." "How is it you are not yet understanding? How slow you are to believe! Don't you see how all along the scriptures have been telling you about the Christ?" Stranger responded. By this time, they were in the village of Emmaus, and they sat down for supper at an inn. The stranger took a piece of bread, lifted it up, gave thanks to God for it, broke it, and gave it to each of them. It was then that they knew it was he. But in that very same moment, he was gone. They sat in stunned wonder. Now they knew why their hearts were burning within as they walked with him on the road. They quickly got up to head back to Jerusalem and tell the rest, "We have seen the Lord." That day, they had experienced Jesus in a new way, in the breaking of the bread. On the third Sunday in the season of Easter, we remember one night in Jerusalem when the disciples were gathered together in a room. They had shut tight the doors, afraid that the soldiers would come and take them like they had taken Jesus. And then, all of a sudden, Jesus himself came close, right in the middle of them. "Peace be with you," he said. At first, they thought it was a ghost, but then he showed them his wounds. There, on his hands. They touched them, and they saw him eat a piece of fish. And they listened as he explained how the scriptures were all about him, just as he had explained on the road to Emmaus. It is written that Christ would suffer and die and would rise from the dead on the third day. Now I will give you power to tell this good news about me all around the world. And then he said again, "Peace be with you." And he was gone. Thomas had been away that night. When the disciples told him the next day, "We have seen the Lord," he did not believe them. He had doubt deep down inside him. I need to see and touch the wounds in his hands. Then I will believe. And why wouldn't he have some doubt? Their minds were stretching to be big enough to know Jesus in a new way. Eight days passed. The disciples again gathered in a room with the doors tightly shut. This time, Thomas was with them. And then Jesus came close, right in the middle of them, with all the doors still locked. "Peace be with you," he said. And this time Jesus went right up to Thomas and held out his hand. "Touch me. Here. Do not doubt, but believe." All Thomas could do was fall to his knees. "My Lord and my God." Jesus came close to Thomas and looked in his face. "Do you believe because you have seen me?" Then he slowly looked around at each face in that room and said, "Blessed are all those who have not seen me and yet believe." I wonder, what part of this story did you like the best? I wonder what you are wondering about after hearing this story. I wonder if you know anyone who has believed in Jesus, even though they have never seen him. I wonder why Jesus said those that believe without seeing are blessed, are happiest. I wonder what part of this story is most important.